Is there anything I could do to help you?
Not again!
He must really suffer. Does it still hurt you?
Ah!
I'll be back as soon as I come up with some idea.
Oh! Ah!
I have to get out of here to make it work.
Pain! Ah! Pain! It doesn't hurt me at all.
That's disgusting. I see my boss is really creative.
It doesn't hurt me. That bastard! How could he do this?
I fear it's not yet over.
And who or what are you? Did the ladybird send you?
Well, I'm here sort of on my own. They wrapped me in this sheet and sent me here, but now I feel that my interest is sort of different from theirs. Although I already know some things, tell me what really happened.
How did you know about me?
First from Niels' diary, then from Larissa, Dirac and Scott. And finally I found out that you've been tortured by Kurt. Thanks to his diary I figured out how to help you.
Interesting. I would never have expected the ghost in the sheet to help me. But on the other hand, I would probably never have expected to end up like this. Let me start from the beginning. I worked in Omega for almost 15 years. For the whole time, I never had an interest in what was actually being produced in here. We had to sign a very complicated contract upon our entry, where we, amongst other things, had to promise that we wouldn't ask any questions. I was expecting that thanks to the secret nature of the factory, it would produce some weapons. I couldn't have been further from the truth. In reality, the influence of Sector Omega reaches far beyond the grave. The device produced by Sector Omega is in reality a very sophisticated ghost-catching gadget, which uses the moment just before the soul leaves the body for good. It flies a bit above the body and then up and away. But if anybody activates the ghost catcher at that moment, the soul is caught and transported to the so-called tunnel. From there, it's brought to the big boss who enslaves it.
But that would mean that this device must be operated by someone who gets in touch with dying people.
Exactly. And we have clear suspects, doctors and priests.
After a while you'd be dead, but that's not what we want. I'll be glad to introduce you to our boss.
What's that for?
You'll see.
Father, may I be given the last sacrament?
But of course, in nomine Patris et Filii et...
What's that, Father?
The only Holy Ghost in here is yours, and we have a great use for it.
Do you have any idea how big this conspiracy is?
Fairly huge. According to my information, Omega was supposed to supply all those involved around the world in the next 2 years or so. Also, this knowledge is already contained in the official medical education materials and church doctrines.
But how did you find out about all this?
It's a long story, but it started when I caught that bastard hiding something in the locker. That locker which, officially, was broken and unopenable. Of course, he slammed it shut and played dumb, but I knew that something wasn't right. So I started to thoroughly explore the dressing rooms and realized that all this is a very intricate locking mechanism. Talk about darkness under the lamp.
I've noticed that much. Were those your notes I found?
Yup. And finally I opened it and found a ghost catcher inside. So I stole it and hid it for a closer examination later. I remember it was the day the fire started in Omega. Anyway, not long after I grabbed the ghost catcher, the problem with the cellar door started. I don't want to make this any longer, but I descended to the cellar, and there were the ladybirds already waiting for me. They told me what's going on, and they wanted the machine from me. I gave it to them, and they explained to me what it's for, but I didn't know that it'd end up like that. Some really disgusting, sleazy creature made this out of me.
If it helps you, the only thing which remains of that disgusting creature is a single bone.
And that bastard Kurt?
He turned into a walking void.
At least that's something.
Who are the ladybirds?
I'm not sure, but probably from a similar place as the so-called bosses. Maybe some counterweight, but I don't know anything else since there was no time for questions. They asked me instead.
Who really is my boss?
Nobody knows where he's from, but his goal is to have a constant stream of slaves. I don't have any idea how he manipulates humans, but he obviously has his means. And also a very strong servant.
He did have one. Tell me about Niels.
Niels was my big hope. As soon as I sensed that I was in a big mess, I told him about the cellar, and I hoped he could back me up. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
How do you know that?
The boss's servant got him. He made something really weird out of him. Once Kurt brought him in some sort of jar, and then he let him loose to scare some workers. Such a bastard.
What? If this isn't the creature I freed from the locker and then from the tube post?
If he's still flying around, we might have a chance. Kurt doesn't know that we, who are beyond death, are able to communicate on a higher level. Niels gave me back the scary sound essence. I can't use it myself, but if you were able to create an improvised musical instrument and use the essence on it, you'll obtain the ability to communicate with Niels. Before Kurt let him loose, Niels gave me a message that he needs to speak with me urgently. You'll understand that it was unfortunately not possible in my condition. So now go and make some instrument and transform the essence into it. Then contact Niels. Hopefully he knows something we don't.
Thank you. I'll try. Is there any way to stop this madness?
Well, I think that the ladybirds were able to put Omega out of order sufficiently, but it would be nice if we could get out of here to meet our well-deserved death. There's nothing worse than this condition.
I think that an hour ago you would have said something different. I'll try to find a way how to get us out of this.
Be careful. Our last hope is Ghost in the Sheet. How ironic.
002YZ1 is written on the paper. This I don't understand. So let's try some password. Great, got it. A bone left from that sleazy thing. I'll try to make a flute out of the bone. It will be a real magic flute. It worked. Great. I have a scary sound. Now to find a way to talk to Niels. Aha, I'm starting to understand him. Hello.
Finally. I was afraid we would never understand each other. As you already know, my name is Niels. There's no time for any formal stuff, but I wanted to thank you for liberating me twice. I feared I'd be stuck in that cabinet for eternity.
How did you get in there?
After they made this out of me, Kurt sent me to the factory to scare the workers a bit. Just before he did that, I gave my essence to Hansen. Otherwise we wouldn't be talking right now. Anyway, my scared colleagues shut me in that damn cabinet. You probably know the rest of the story. By the way, you've made yourself a nice instrument. May I ask what it came from?
From that sleazy thing which mutilated you and Hansen.
Amazing. To be honest, you're surprising me.
How can we stop Sector Omega?
Sector Omega won't be operating again for quite some time, but I'm under no illusions. The boss, or whatever this is, will find a way and a means to start over.
And is there really nothing to do against him?
Look at yourself, look at me, look at Hansen. What do you think?
I fear you're right. Is there any way to help you?
It exists, although I haven't a clue if it will work. Omega makes a device which enslaves the afterlife souls and prevents them from going to eternity. That's why it has the ghost cat you've probably already seen.
Only the image of it.
Never mind. Anyway, this machine is a very delicate and complicated device. After my discussion with the ladybirds, I came to the conclusion that there must be a reverse machine which negates the effect of this ghost cat.
Aha, so that's why you wanted to speak with Hansen.
Exactly. Moreover, I was able to find a numeric combination which should be able to create such a machine. The only problem is that the machine itself is very complicated. It's not sufficient to enter this combination, because you have to set up the rest of the machine as well. And also, you have to carefully calibrate the gas in the factory.
So do you know that combination?
Yes, it is. 5 0 5 0 4 9 0 5.
Wait, you're telling me that directly? That it is 5 0 5 0 4 9 0 5?
Yes, I'm telling you. 5 0 5 0 4 9 0 5.
So I don't have to solve any complex polyalphabetic ciphers. I don't have to put pieces of the newspaper together and simply put it 50504905.
Yes, but apart from 50504905, you also have to set up the rest of the machine, and that won't be fun. It's important to correctly set up the gas, and to have no clue how to set this up.
Larissa.
Larissa must hate me by now.
Not anymore. I delivered your letter to her.
If they serve a beer up here, and if we get out of here, I owe you 3.
I'll try to help us.
Now it's up to you.
As if anything's changed.